call to order. I'll go ahead and do what you need to do. I'll be chairing the meeting this morning as our chair, Sam Tornatori's wife, is not feeling well and he needs to be with her this morning. So we wish them all the best and hope for a speedy recovery on Sam's wife. Alrighty, next on our agenda would be roll call.
Member Krajewski.
Here.
Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Guston.
Here.
Member Ozog.
Here.
Member Rutledge.
Here.
Chair Tornatori.
Thank you. Public comment. We do have people signed up for that. First on my list, I have Brendan May.
Yeah, I'm here with Timber Hill Group for later. The traffic engineer with that project.
Did you want to make any public comment this morning?
Not right now.
Okay. Next on the list is Connor Harmon.
Yeah, I'll make.
Okay. Okay.
Try to do it.
3 minutes, sir. Come on up here.
I'm speaking on behalf of item 27-23. It's 7C. It's for a conditional use amendment request at 27 West 364 North Avenue. I represent the property owner. I'm with Timber Hill Group, Connor Harmon. We have consultants here regarding the project, but I just wanted to briefly introduce it and talk about it. I know there's been a lot of testimony about it at the ZBA hearing. But what we're proposing to construct is a roughly 57,100 square foot footprint. I'm sorry, 47,100 square foot building footprint of an overall 57,100 square foot development. For Build to Suit Main Freight Incorporated is our tenant. And 37,100 square feet would be terminal and 20,000 would be office. And we're proposing 81 dock doors, 1 drive-in door, 92 auto stalls, 44 tractor stalls, and 86 trailer stalls. As part of this development, we're meeting all required setbacks by code. And as part of the improvements to the property, we're improving it by reducing the lot coverage from 67% to 57%. What's existing out there right now is a truck parking operation with 2 structures on the property. We're proposing to completely eliminate that use and redevelop the property into this proposal. As part of that, we're also proposing significant screening along the residential to the north and the property to the east with a 6-foot opaque fence and significant landscaping. Our tenant Main Freight's also interested in several sustainable design elements, including rainwater harvesting, solar panels, gray water collection, and potentially xeriscape. From a lighting perspective, we're requiring to meet code. We will be meeting code from a lighting perspective. There will not be spill into adjacent properties, and all foot candle measurements at the lot lines will be 0. From a stormwater perspective, there is no stormwater infrastructure on site, so we're proposing to meet the countywide stormwater management ordinance. And discharge from the cellar detention area will naturally flow to the North Avenue cross culverts due to the topography of the site. From an architectural perspective, I'm not going to wrap it up. We're proposing a simple amount of glass, insulated precast panels, and outdoor amenity features. And finally, from a conditional use perspective, from the conditional use standards perspective, we feel that we're meeting all standards, and that it is a significant improvement on site compared to what is existing today. We're reducing the amount of traffic trips a day. We're including stormwater infrastructure, and we're proposing to construct a Class A facility to which doesn't exist on site today. And with that, I'm happy to, or any of our consultants are here to answer any questions you might have.
Get to that later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Fred Beatty.
Beatty, no further comments.
Thank you. BJ Slinger.
I sit for a moment. It's difficult for me to stand. Good morning, everyone. I'm BJ Slinger, a resident of Wheaton, simply here exercise to learn and seek information. I don't have any complaints one way or the other. I'm seeking clarity regarding zoning regulations that apparently prohibit short-term home rentals within the unincorporated areas. I cannot seem to find specific language in Code 37704 that mentions anything about an owner renting his home to guests short-term. In reading Code 37704, there seems to be lots of details about sizes of structures and their location in relationship to impacting immediate neighbors, the external environment. By contrast, I learned that the city of Wheaton has clear language specifying how homeowners may rent a home to guests for less than 14 days, provided the homeowner is present overnight. So I have some rhetorical questions I'm interested in exploring. Am I really correct that residents in unincorporated DuPage are not permitted to rent their home for short-term guests? And I'm interested in the interplay between what is permitted and what is prohibited. What specific code is the homeowner violating when renting his home? Where does the code specifically address what is prohibited? What number of violations have been issued annually where homeowners were not aware of these regulations? Unknown, ignorance. How is the law applied or monitored when violations are discovered? I think sometimes we call that scofflaws that people ignore, and the government authority doesn't have the resources to follow up on each and every case, making the law irrelevant, subject to abuse. How does the zoning and building staff have the authority to prohibit a homeowner hosting guests if there's no specific language in the code that addresses that issue? It's invisible, in contrast to the city of Wheaton. So I look forward to meeting briefly with the building and zoning staff, if I may, seeking a meaningful, constructive, enlightening conversation. I wanted to stop by here first because I feel I'm talking at the 5,000-foot level of philosophy of what a homeowner is allowed to do on his own property without impacting or annoying the neighbors in a residential community. I have a friend in West Chicago who's rented out her guest home for years, charging $5 to $10 a night. Overall, the question is it an unwritten law that people aren't aware of? And why isn't it specifically in a code if the code is only dealing with external safety structures? So I hope all that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking time.
Is it appropriate to stop by the building and zoning office to ask questions like
Certainly. You'll have to wait until the meeting's over though, because they're all here.
these? See you all, or I have attempted to talk by phone or email, but I thought a personal conversation would be more enlightening. Simply trying to learn, because I'm not in favor one way or the other, but it's very confusing.
Member Guston, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that topic up, because there has been a lot of communities that have upgraded their ordinances because of Airbnbs also. And some communities, like in subdivisions, they would find an Airbnb taking place. We had in Naperville an issue where they would rent out a huge home for the weekend and they would do bears parties and people would not be well. They wouldn't conduct themselves properly. And the neighbors around were very, very, very upset. So there's more of that conversation that needs to happen. So I'm glad you're going to be talking with staff.
Well, and to add on to that, as part of our housing conversations that we've been having, I asked that very same question. And the answer I got is, as long as the homeowner is there, there is no prohibition against that.
Whoa,
But it's when the homeowner is not present was the answer I got. So,
that's,
but I would be interested
we
in
got a
further
different, we got a
discussion.
different answer. I'm interested in renting entire homes for graduations, funerals, family reunions, and weddings. And you know the people, they're well vetted, and no neighborhood alcohol business. Is there a particular gentleman at the building and zoning department I could make an appointment with?
This guy
You
right
can
here.
talk to either Jim Strand or Paul Haas over in the corner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Slinger. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes from the Tuesday, June 6th, 2020 meeting. Roll call, please. Can we do a voice on that? Okay. voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have budget transfers, 23-2131, transfer of funds from account 112810500099, new program request personnel to account 1128105000, regular salaries in the amount of $56,000 to transfer budgeted funds for new position to regular salaries for FY23. Any questions?
Yes.
Member Chaplin.
Yes, thank you. I'm just curious what position we're hired, because it doesn't give me any information on the budget transfer, so I was just curious.
And I believe that Jim had told us before the meeting that this was
Yes,
one of.
this was a position we added last year. We came to the committee. It's a permit technician position.
Okay,
It was approved in the budget, but it was under the new program request line.
great.
So we budgeted the money for it.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't bring the person on board until sometime in January.
And what's the title?
It's one of the permit technicians.
Oh, great. All right, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we brought somebody in and now we just have to transfer the money from the new program
Is it
request line to
paperwork?
the line
Okay.
salary line to make it all work.
Yeah, I have no issues with just curious
Okay.
about what we're.
Okay. Any other
City check.
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Under regulatory services, DCO 0025-23, Dawson, the zoning hearing officer, recommended to approve the following zoning relief for conditional use to increase the cumulative size of a detached accessory building from 1,727 square feet to approximately 2,304 square feet for an existing 593 square feet detached garage and a new 1,710 square feet detached accessory building. I hear a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have DCO 0026-23. For Shelley, the zoning hearing officer recommended to approve the following zoning relief. Variation to allow a 6-foot, 100% closed privacy fence within the 10-foot corner side yard setback located in District 3. I have
So moved.
a second. Any questions? Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, I have DCO 0027-23. Timber Hill Group, Zoning Board of Appeals recommended to approve the following zoning relief, conditional use amendment to a previously approved zoning relief, Z21-011, to allow for a conditional use to construct a warehouse building in District 6, corner of North Avenue and Morton. Did I hear a second? I'm sorry. Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, DCO 0028-23. Lattice, the zoning hearing officer recommended to approve the following zoning relief, variation to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 feet to approximately 15
So
feet
moved.
for an addition, District 2, Steeple Run Drive and Birdsong Court.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is DCO 0029-3 for Dees. The zoning hearing officer recommended to approve the following zoning relief, a variation to reduce the rear setback for a proposed deck from 3 feet to approximately 1 foot. Purnell and Gardner Way in District 6.
So moved.
Can I hear a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. This is a similar, this next item is similar. They are next door neighbors. This is DCO 003023 for Muhitch. Thank you for your service as Wheaton Moorville South football coach for so many years. Variation to reduce the rear setback for a proposed deck from 3 feet to approximately 1 foot, Gardner Way and
So
Purnell.
moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries. Can I combine?
Let's vote to combine.
Sure. Next, I'd like to combine items 7G, H, I, and J. These are
Second.
closing. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any questions on any of these items?
Were these just like a 1-year or 2-year contract? We're closing out something for 3 years. Was it like the TPI and Safe Built ones?
Yeah, so that was, we we encumber a large sum of money to cover whatever comes up, and if we don't get that much work.
So how long was the contract? Because it started like June of 20?
Yeah, it was a contract with 1-year renewals.
Okay, so does this include all the renewals or is this just the first year?
Sorry.
Because it seemed like we hardly used any of the money. I think we had 50,000 for TPI was $2,000 and then 125,000 for Safe Build. It was only 25 grand. So
I think it was, yes.
for 1 year, is this since we did it in 2020?
You know what? I'll have to get the answer to that. I'm sorry, I don't know.
That's all right. It just seemed like we
I thought
hardly
it was
used any
just
of
for
it.
1 year, but well, for TPI, we haven't sent them any work in years.
Well, that's what,
Yeah,
one's $2,000, one's 30 grand. But I didn't know if that's what we spent in the last 3 years or if that was just from when we initially did it.
I think it's what we spent the last 3 years with TPI.
Well, what about Safe Build?
Safe Build, I think that's from just last year, so I'll find out
Okay.
for sure.
Because it looked like the contract was from 2020. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
That was just a motion.
I thought we did.
No, you moved to combine.
Just that, yeah, that was just.
I'm sorry. So next I want to move to approve 23-2132 for waste box 23-2146 for county court reporters,
Second.
23-2133 for TPI building code consultants, and 23-2134 for Safe Build Illinois. I heard a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those motions carry. Is there any old business?
Just real quick, does it make sense? I mean, looking at this, we have so many all the time, variances that we're granting all the time for setback. We have a couple here for tax 3 feet to 1 foot or the addition 15 feet. That we should be maybe changing that just to have the setbacks less, just as we seem to be creating so many variances for it. Just the question.
Member
Well, I
Chapman.
would just like to comment on that, every yard is different and every property is different. I know if we had an issue in my district with a fence and we had to go out and have the fence moved, so yeah, no, I think every property is different. I think we need to keep it.
That's fine. I mean, I just don't, it seems like, are we too restrictive that everybody's coming in? It should be 8 feet or 20.
Are you
Member
thinking
Ozan.
more if it's like a
I don't know, I just-
2
we
feet or
just
1
keep getting
foot
on.
variance request that it gets
Well,
done administratively?
Everything's at
or
20,
what?
well, we're doing it more administrative now because they go to the hearing officer, but it's like the rear yard's 25 feet, should it be 20? I mean, I don't know when's the last time I looked at it. That's fine. I just asked him. We just seem to grant these all the time.
That's not really gonna help.
Member Ozark.
Sorry, that's not gonna really help in a case where you're going 1 foot from the lot line. That's pretty extreme, so,
Did 2 of them today.
but it's not gonna help to change from 20 to 25.
No, that
Still
was a
going to
different, that
1
was an
foot.
addition. This was a deck.
Yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
I agree. I think that case by case, we need to
I think so too, but
Sure.
I don't think it's a huge administrative burden to do a good share of these.
Anybody else? Okay. Next on our agenda, any new business? Anybody have any new business?
We just were in sync with the zoning hearing officer this meeting, so that was very good.
Yes.
Yes.
And we haven't.
Haven't had that for a long time. Woo-hoo.
Okay, without objection, we're adjourned.
That is new business.